Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Melanie of Melanie's Let's See Biology, and today I'm back at the worm bin and we are going to be adding some new worms. I bought these worms today. This is from a local company. I'll get a little closer so you can see Scarlets Worm Factory. I'm not quite sure her story, but I think this is like a little 12-year-old girl who has taken these worms on as her project, and I think it's a wonderful project, and so I'm going to support her by buying her worms and adding them to my bin. Alright, before I just go and dump these worms just right into the bin, I'm going to shred up this newspaper and soak it in water so that way it's nice and pulpy, so when I add the new worms into it they have some bedding to hunker down in. Then I will probably add some more kitchen scraps vegetables that I've been hanging on to for a little bit, and they're nice and worm ready. We'll show you that in this video. But this is almost like starting a new bin. You go through the same process where you're going to soak your newspaper, add some food, and then add your worms. And shredding the newspaper is just as easy as it sounds. Just gonna rip them into shreds, and then I'll rip these shreds down into smaller pieces of paper so they're easier to soak up in the water, kind of pulp down, gives the worms some extra bedding to lay in. Hi, Rufus. Alright, now that I've got the newspaper all shredded up and in the bucket, I'm going to add some water. This is just the bleaching that's already come through the worm bin. You can see the color's got a nice brown tinge to it, and it looks like it's ready for making compost tea. So now I'm just going to let this sit for a little bit, and I'm going to stir it around with my little stirrer. Get it all soaked up and nice and pulpy, ready for the wormies. Here's Rufus maintaining the worm bin. He's eating the grass coming out of the side. Oh yeah, get over that grass, buddy, that's good for you. He's a good garden helper. Yes, he is. You're a good kitty. Say hi, Rufus. Ooh, he likes that grass. See, worm bin's good for all. Cats and worms and people, plants. Here we have our kitchen scraps, and like I said, I've been saving these for a little while. So they're nice and worm ready, which means they're old and slimy. Because worms have such a tiny mouth that they need liquid to suck up. So I'm going to go ahead and pour this water on top of my stuff because it is so slimy. And I want it to come right out. Some water. I have this old shovel here. Kind of loosen it up. Ooh, good thing you can't smell this on the video. Stinky. Just the way the worms like it. Going to spread these out a little bit. And then I'm going to add our newspaper. Well, I'm going to add our worms and then the newspapers. Now that I've got the food scraps in there, I think we're ready to add these worms. I'm going to take off this lid. They're all hiding down at the bottom, so let's flip it and look at these worms. There they are. Beautiful, nice and healthy. They are hungry. Now that the worms are in the bin, I'm going to leave this bin open for just a little while so that the worms go down, because they do not want that sunlight on them. So they're going to go down. Already you can see that there's only one little worm left. If I spread that open, you'll see that they're still wiggling down. But I'll let them sit there for a little bit till they all wiggle down into the bin further, and then I'll add the newspapers. Give them some nice cool bedding. So let's see. Nope, they're still wiggling down. These are nice looking worms. And it looks like that this is cast that they're in. So that's good stuff. But the worms, there's some baby ones in there. They need to go down. So I'll just spread this out and let them get used to their new home, and we'll add the newspaper. The thing I am noticing is that they used a nice cardboard container to put these worms in, which can be composted. Maybe pull off the little label and just leave this right in the bin. Very smart. This is a great little project that Scarlet is working on from Grass Valley. So now that these worms have kind of settled down in there, I'm going to add this newspaper. It's only been sitting for a little bit, and you can see that it's already nice and pulpy. I'm just going to pour them right over the top. These worms and this food. And I am going to leave it open for a little bit to get the worms to go down, because they're not used to this new environment. So they're going to need to hide. So their option is to either crawl out or go down. So I'm going to leave it open so the sun gets on them so they go down. So it's as simple as that, just adding the worms to the bin with food and bedding, and making sure that they're kept moist and fed, and keep it in the shade, because now summer's coming. They're going to need to be in the shade. I have a good spot here because in the wintertime it's in the sun to keep them warm in the winter, and in the summer it's in the shade to keep them shaded from the heat. So our video is thanks to Scarlets Worms from Grass Valley, California. And I think, I'm going to reach out to this company and see if maybe we can collaborate and start doing some workshops and videos together. Thank you, and we'll see you on our next video.